the lecture titled, "A Healthy Nation is a Wealthy Nation. The Role of Impact Investment and Sustainable Financing in Nigeria." And the guest lecturer that day was the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, Advanced Medical Services Limited, NETSAL, Dr. Kola Adesina. Now, the one who is assuming the role of the guest speaker. Kola Adesina, MFR, FNSE, TSC, the Group Managing Director, Sahara Power Group. And today, we are gathered to celebrate the life of a distinguished Nigerian, a great scholar, who left an indelible mark on the sands of time. He was here last year, celebrating 95. I would have loved to be here, but then God said, "My son, come in." And we are talking about late after his favor, his Mbanefo, the editor of nature, the member of the Order of the Federal Republic, commander of the Order of Niger, and also a fellow of the Chartered Accountants, former Pro-Chancellor and the Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Lagos. We pray that Almighty God continues to rest his soul. My name is Oluwaseun Adedaga. May I humbly and respectfully recognize our future ready Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, AANFAS. A round of applause, please, for her. Also seated on that table, I humbly and respectfully recognize the chairman of today's occasion, Mr. Ego Aino, DSC, UFR. A round of applause, please, for him. We also have seated already our chairman of the board of AMDRC, Mr. Ernest Obi, MFR, FCIB. A round of applause for him, please. I apologize. Ernest Obi. That's applause, please, for the chairman of AMDRC. And of course, sitting very close to me is our guest lecturer for today, Group Managing Director, Sahara Power Group, Kola Adesina, MFI, FNSE, EST. Round of applause, please, for him. With your kind permission, Madam Vice Chancellor is here in company of wonderful members of the University of Lagos Management. I respectfully recognize the Professor of African Philosophy, my Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Illuminating Adebanjo Falayi, fellow Nigeria Academy of Letters. I also want to recognize my Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research, Professor Matthew Olusoji Ileri, FAS. The Registrar and Secretary to the Governing Council of the University of Lagos is unavoidably absent. Mrs. Victoria Adesina is here represented by Mr. Yetunde Ogunleye. A round of applause for her, please. The bursar of University of Lagos is unavoidably absent. This is Oluwafunilola Yetunde Adekule, FCA, but here represented by the director at the AMDRC, Mr. Anthony Aloko. Round of applause, please. The director of academic planning at the University of Lagos, Professor Mbanefo, is here with us. Round of applause, please. We have guests who are here that have always been consistent. I respectfully recognize the chairman of Advancement Board of the University of Lagos, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, CON. A round of applause, please, for him. We also have a round of applause, please, for him. Mr. Dennis Okoro, a round of applause, please, for him. Richard Ekafe, a round of applause, please, for him. Mr. Lopez Younger, a round of applause, please, for him. Our former registrar and secretary to the Governing Council of the University of Lagos, and Director, Office of Advancement, former Director of AMDRC and gold medalist, Dr. Kola by FNSE is here with us this year. Good morning. Members, and yes, we recognize the a round of applause for you. My former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Lucien Obina Chukwu, round of applause for him. Time goes on, more recognition will definitely continue. We recognize everyone who have come to celebrate the life of the distinguished Nigerian. You are all welcome to this very auspicious occasion. But before then, let me quickly recognize a casting. That Mr. Illuminating Adewale, Dr. Illuminating Adewale, please apologize. More recognition will definitely continue. May I now respectfully request that we are happy as we take the record of Nigeria's national anthem, and we also take the University of Lagos anthem, and after we come back for the second program. The first stanza only.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
Nigeria's all and proud to serve the anthem and the first national anthem anywhere in the world.
Nations
prayer.
Our Father and our Lord, we want to say thank you. Lord, we thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the privilege to be here this day. Thank you for this occasion. Commit everything we're going to do here today to your hands. We ask that you take absolute control, such that at the end we will have cause to glorify your name. We have prayed in Jesus' name. God bless you. Please be seated.
Watchman. When that University of Lagos anthem was sung, looking at some faces, especially those who didn't attend the University of First Choice and the nation's pride. Try to say, University of Lagos, the only university that was put up an government in 1962. University of First Choice and the nation's pride. University where we have a chopper, a helicopter, a plane, we have a landing place for you. University where the rules are very notable. I also try to say, first international visitor who came to University of Lagos, some record, on Monday, October 31, 2023, former German Chancellor Olaf Scholz came to University of Lagos via the Lagoon front. You can hear our anthem, indeed and in truth, just choice in scholarship, great in knowledge and character. We produce exemplary global leaders, and one of them is our guest speaker today. It's my singular honor, pleasure, and delight to respectfully invite for the opening remarks. Who's already Vice Chancellor, Professor of Medical Microbiology. We are very well pleased. Professor Kola Nishola, AON, AS, to address this gathering. A round of applause for her.
The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Chepon. The chairman, Board of Trustees, Andrick, Dr. Ernest Edley. The guest lecturer, Mr. Kola Adesina. Members of the University of Lagos Management, members of the Board of AMDRC, members of the university community, our guests, friends of the center, but permit me to acknowledge the presence of some of our guests. Senator Bodiola Jumoke, thank you for coming for all the time. Mr. Dennis Okoye, thank you very much. Environment, Chief of CAFE, Dr. Ije Jedema, Dr. Adewale, these are friends of Andrew, our chief, that always and consistently are here. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to the 7th edition of the Mbanefo Digital Research Center, which this year assumes a deeper significance as it is the first one of its birth. The university has been privileged to have had Mbanefo as its co-chancellor and chairman of the council between 1984 and 1986. And it brings back to our university this edifice built in 2012 and bequeathed it to us on his 90th birthday June 11, 2020. Today is a day of mixed emotions, but we continue to celebrate the life of vision and enduring legacy of an extraordinary statesman and philanthropist. This commitment to knowledge and national development inspired the establishment of this center. Through his generosity, AMDRC has become a vibrant hub for scholarship, innovation, and digital learning within our university. At this point, I want to crave your indulgence for us all to rise for a minute of silence in his honor. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Please be seated. Our Chief Mbanefo transitioned to glory last year at the age of 95. His ideal very life. His life exemplified the transformative power of knowledge. We are therefore honored to continue this annual lecture, not just as a tribute to his memory, but also as a reaffirmation of the values he held dear. Therefore, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the entire Mbanefo family for their support and continued relationship with the university. We want to express our condolences again, and we know that the Lord will continue to comfort you. For all our friends and friends of truth that are here, this is a demonstration of your commitment to the belief in the ideals of our benefactor and the strong bond between the family and the University of Lagos. This year, I am honored to have with us again Mr. Kola Adesina, MFR FNSE, a distinguished alumnus and an honoree of the university, not as chairman this year, but as the guest lecturer. His vast repertoire of knowledge spans academia, finance, international trade, diplomacy, and energy. We will deliver today's lecture titled Illuminating Africa from Rhetoric to Results: the why, the how, the who, and the when. His choice as the guest lecturer of today's lecture is definitely an excellent one. I am confident that his presentation will move us beyond declarations to engage practical pathways that can thrive and drive sustainable development and deepen digital transformation. I have no doubt that we will be challenged to bridge the gap between vision and execution. To our chairman for today, Dr. Shogwine, a seasoned entrepreneur and former chairman of Idea Investment Company Limited, he was strategically selected. A global professional banking leader, internationally rated fintech ecosystem enabler, and thought leader, a transformation expert. He will provide the usual perspectives that you have come to expect from the chairman of our lectures. I would like to seize this opportunity to appreciate all the well-meaning Nigerians, stakeholders, those in the private sector, our alumni who have and keep supporting this center and the University of Lagos in various capacities. Allow me also to appreciate the members of AMDRC board, led by Mr. Ernest Eben, for their contributions and innovative ideas in sustaining the center. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to a special program aimed at showcasing the talents of our students, Unilag in town. This year's performance promises to be enlightening and entertaining. Our students from the creative arts will be performing a famous officer who is afraid of Tai Shulang. The venue is Terra Culture, and the date is Saturday, July 11, a month from today. I expect to see many of you there. Do tell your friends, and we will share with you invitations to come. So as we proceed with today's lecture, I implore all of you to listen, and I'm sure that you will leave this place perfect. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Well, if you are just coming in contact with me for the very first time, my name is Illuminating, but most times I like to be called AT, which is an acronym for liver twist. And you know what an liver twist does? You just like to ask for more. Don't be out of place if you give my future ready Vice Chancellor, Professor Kola Shade, Mbanefo, Adesina, AAM, FAS, and other we sound around that place. She's always first. I'm very, very proud whenever I look back to say, this is my Vice Chancellor. And I keep telling you, Mark, that every time you speak, replicate those words of John Quincy Adams, who says, if your action inspires people to do more, learn more, and become more, then truly you are a leader. We're proud of you, Madam Vice Chancellor, and thank you very much for where you have taken University of Lagos to, the enviable heights. Without wasting much time, permit me to respectfully invite for his welcome speech the chairman of AMDRC, Mr. Ernest MFR IB. A round of applause, please, for him.
Very much, MC, and good morning, everyone. Let me start by recognizing our chief host so that we'll continue to enjoy the occupation of the premises. Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, Professor Kola Ogunshola, OON, the chairman of today's occasion, my good friend. I call him my own president because he was the president of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Dr. Shegun Ayino, OFR. Our esteemed guest lecturer today, Mr. Kola Adesina, MFR, FNSE. He is Group Managing Director, Sahara Power Group, as we've been told. I must also recognize the leadership of the University of Lagos. There are quite a number of them here present. Also, my colleagues on the board of AMDRC, the family and friends of Chief Ato Mbanefo Odu, our beloved benefactor, who are here present. I think the Vice Chancellor did a very good job to recognize all of you, so I'm not going to go through that. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th AMDRC annual lecture that is titled Illuminating Africa, from Rhetoric to Results, the why, the how, the who, benefactor, Adesina Mbanefo, CON, the Odu. Gathered here on this day, 11th June 2026, which incidentally would have been his 96th birthday. Celebrate knowledge, service, and a life well lived. Today marks a significant milestone. For 6 years, this annual lecture has served as a platform for intellectual engagement, innovation, and policy reflection. And by the way, we have a compendium of the first 5 editions, which I believe, for those of you who have not got a copy, very useful. For the first time, however, we are holding this lecture on benefactor on December 4, 2025, at the remarkable age of 95. It was his generosity, vision, and learning that made this center possible. We mourn his departure. We celebrate a life rich in impact, wisdom, service, and philanthropy. As we remember him, celebrate not only his generosity and humanity, but also his extraordinary contributions to Nigeria and the world. He served Nigeria with distinction as a patriot, diplomat, educationist, and administrator. He was an exceptional national and international personality. Across several decades of public service, national honors, professional respect, and the admiration of many through his exemplary leadership, integrity, and commitment to national development. People believe that progress is built on ideas, that institutions such as this center are the seedbeds where those ideas take root and flourish. His support was never given for recognition, but from a deep conviction that Nigeria and Africa must lead in the digital age through research, innovation, and the training of future generations. That conviction remains the foundation upon which we stand today. To his family, I say thank you for sharing him with us and for continuing to preserve and uphold his remarkable legacy. May his memory continue to be blessing, inspiration, generation, and those to come. Since I'm not going to come back to this platform, let me seize this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the university management under the able leadership of Vice Chancellor Professor Kola for his consistent support, enabling environment and confidence in the Mbanefo Digital Research Center. The partnership continues to strengthen the center's mandate. So, first lecturer, who was our chairman last year, Mr. Kola Adesina, thank you for accepting our invitation and for honoring us with your insight today, which we look forward to. All our distinguished guests, partners and friends of the center, your presence here testament to the value you place on the ideals Mbanefo represented. I would like to deeply and sincerely appreciate our lecture. I know, and we use this opportunity to share with him that we have very good corporate governance here and very good succession plan. And to put you on notice that maybe in 2020, the 8th annual lecture, which incidentally will be the first memorial lecture, may approach you to be the guest lecturer. So you get ready for that. That has been our tradition here, as you had earlier on. Mr. Adesina was the chairman last year. So probably today he will do the same to you. So get ready. Thank you very much. So permit me to also acknowledge dedicated staff of the center for their hard work, professionalism, and commitment. Let's recognize Ms. Sugar for her diligence, hard work, and her team. It is your daily effort that keeps the center vibrant and its programs successful. Ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, let this lecture not only not only moment of remembrance, also a renewal of our commitment to values our benefactors. That is excellence, integrity, provision, and service to humanity through knowledge. Once again, I welcome you all, and God bless.
Thank you very much, our vibrant chairman, Mr. Ernest Ebi, MFI CID, for that excellent speech. Right now, we respectfully invite for his own address, chairman, today's occasion. Probably just put it there that the incoming guest lecturer by God's grace for the 8th edition, Dr. Shegun Aino SR.
As Chancellor, University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogushola OON, our future already VC. The future is now. The principal officer of the university, the chairman and members of the board of the Mbanefo Digital Resource Center, led by my very good friend, colleague, and Anoga, Mr. Nesebi, because we are colleagues in the bank, and he decided to go to become a regulator by going to the central bank. So he became my Oga when he went to the Central Bank of Nigeria. But it's been a wonderful, fantastic friend and brother. Our distinguished guest lecturer, Mr. Kola Adesina, MFR, Group Managing Director, Sahara Power, members of the university community, leaders from government and the public sector, and we can see a number of them here. My friend, I haven't seen him in a long while, Chief Bayo Joe is here. Chief, I think Chief Amukapemu, I saw him coming, but I think he left with my neighbor, Dr. Bode Olajumoke, captains of industry, members of the academic and research community, members of the Mbanefo family, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me first of all apologize for coming in a few minutes late. It's not in my character to do that. I was supposed to be here by 11:15, but some things happened on the way and I got here, a few minutes late. This is about the fourth time I will come to this university this year, and the VC knows that I'm always with that. So we wait for other people to come. I'm about to privilege and a profound honor to serve as chairman of this 7th Mbanefo annual lecture, organized by the University of Lagos, in celebration of the life, legacy, and enduring contributions of one of Nigeria's most distinguished sons, the late Chief Arthur Chukwunoso Mbanefo, MFR, CON, FCA, the Udu of Onitsha. I'm mindful that by accepting the responsibility of sharing today's event, I'm also embracing the tradition of the Arthur Mbanefo Digital Research Center, which calls upon the chairman of the current lecture to serve as guest lecturer at the next edition. I gladly accept that responsibility and look forward to contributing to the continuation of this important intellectual tradition. Today, we gather not merely to commemorate a remarkable individual, but to celebrate a legacy that transcends generations. A legacy defined by professional excellence, public service, intellectual rigor, nation building, and an unwavering commitment to human development. Chief Arthur Mbanefo occupied many distinguished roles throughout his lifetime. He was a distinguished chartered accountant and one-time president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And for during his tenure that the Account House was, opened. That was in 1999, I think. Was a diplomat, Nigeria ambassador to the United Nations, during which time he also became chairman of Group of 77. You can see that he did not only occupy positions, but he took leadership positions and these things that were really very, very different and transformational as a business leader and community builder. Well, perhaps his most enduring contribution was his ability to build bridges between professions and public service, between institutions and communities, between vision and execution, and between national aspirations and practical outcomes. The 6 previous editions of this lecture series were held while Chief Mbanefo was still with us. Today's event is therefore particularly significant as it is the first since his passing in December 4, 2025. Coincidentally, as we have been told earlier on, he will have celebrated his 96th birthday today. Therefore, as we honor his memory, we also celebrate a life exceptionally well lived, a life whose path continues to resonate through the institutions he strengthened, the people he inspired, and the values he embodied. May his gentle soul continue to rest in peace. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that lectures like this provide a platform for reflection, intellectual inquiry, and intergenerational dialogue. They preserve institutional memory while challenging each generation to reimagine the future and advance the ideals inherited from those who came before us. At a time when the world is experiencing unprecedented technological disruption, political shifts, climate challenges, demographic transitions, and economic transformation, societies are increasingly defined by their capacity to generate knowledge, foster innovation, and translate ideas into tangible progress. It is in this context that the Arthur Mbanefo Digital Research Center assumes even greater significance. The center embodies a recognition that research, digital transformation, innovation, and knowledge creation are no longer optional components of development. They are indispensable foundations for national competitiveness and sustainable prosperity. Very happy to say that the University of Lagos, of which I'm proud to be alumnus, deserves commendation for utilizing this lecture series and sustaining a platform that promotes rigorous discourse on issues of national, continental, and global importance. Universities occupy a unique position in society. Beyond their traditional roles as centers of teaching and scholarship, they must increasingly serve as catalysts for innovation, thought leadership, quality development, entrepreneurship, and social transformation. And we are seeing that these are the things that our VC believes in, because these are things that we speak about all the time. I can see the kind of progress that have been made within the university in recent years. Indeed, the future relevance of African universities will be measured not only by the quality of their research publications, but also by their ability to convert knowledge into solutions, discoveries into enterprises, and ideas into measurable improvements in the lives of people. And this is where I'm sure my very good friend Adesina will be talking about how we can support universities in this endeavor. One of the companies I lead as chairman, we have created innovation hubs in several universities across Nigeria, and we have seen how students and the researchers are benefiting from that endeavor that brings, and I'm happy that just last week, Sahara Energy also announced the program called MAD, Make a Difference for those universities, where researchers, will be giving up to $2,000 for good works. And I'm sure it's one in the series of things that the Sahara group will be doing for this university. So thank you very much for that. The 21st century inclusive reward society that can innovate, adapt, collaborate, and execute. Those that fail to do so risk being left behind. This is why today's conversation is very timely and consequential. The theme of this year's lecture, Illuminating Africa, from rhetoric to results, the why, the how, the who, and the when, captures one of the defining challenges of our generation. The defining question before us today is to remember whether Africa should develop. The question is how do we accelerate implementation? Who must lead and collaborate? Which institutions must be strengthened? What partnerships must be formed? And perhaps most importantly, when decisive action must occur? The answer, I believe, is now. Africa's future cannot be deferred to another generation. I always challenge the African Union, each time I see them, when they say the African strategy plan that says the Africa we want, Agenda 2063. So by 2063, I will not be around. So I want to live, I want to see the Africa that we want today. I'm not in 2023. The urgency of our time demands leadership, public thinking, institutional effectiveness, innovation-driven solutions, and measurable execution. This Africa could be truly illuminated with energy access for all, economically, socially, environmentally, and intellectually. We must embrace the culture of accountability, collaboration, and results. And this calls for deeper partnership among academia, government, industry, development institutions, civil society, and so on and so forth. Because no single stakeholder possesses all the answers. Mr. Adesina will give us all the answers, and we hope that we'll be able to implement many of the things that you'll be telling us today. Distinguished guests, today's lecture provides a valuable opportunity for scholars, policymakers, diplomats, business leaders to engage in thoughtful dialogue on issues that will shape the future of our nation and continent. And we are particularly privileged to have as our guest lecturer, Mr. Kola, MFR, FNSE, a distinguished alumnus of this great university, and one of Africa's foremost business leaders in the energy and infrastructure sector. As Group Managing Director of Sahara Power Group, Adesina has played a significant role in advancing energy development across multiple markets and has consistently demonstrated how visionary leadership, innovation, and strategic execution can create lasting value. His extensive experience in building institutions, leading transformative initiatives, and driving sustainable growth positions him uniquely to address today's theme. I have no doubt that his insights will enrich our understanding of what it will take to illuminate Africa. Once Africa decisively from rhetoric to results. I'm confident that today's lecture will stimulate meaningful dialogue, inspire fresh thinking, and contribute to the collective search for practical solutions to the challenges and opportunities before us. Let me therefore congratulate the Mbanefo Digital Research Center, the University of Lagos, and all those whose efforts have made this event possible. I thank each of you for your presence and participation. I wish us all a stimulating, productive, and intellectually rewarding session. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless Africa. Thank you very much. We sound a round of applause for the chairman of today's occasion.
we now go to the meat of why we are here. My kind permission, we just quickly run through a few things. We recognize our university librarian, Professor Olakukunbo Christopher PPCL, and who is here with us. The director of University of Lagos Business School, we recognize Professor Sunday Adebisi, Professor University of Sahara, Chief Aki Adesina is also here with us. A round of applause, please, for him. Thank you, everyone who have come here. And I want to appreciate every member of the Sahara Power Group who are here in their large number. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for coming. It's not in my character to tell someone who to please be on his feet as you take his citation, but it's what the job requires. And so I recall that the last time I saw him speak was on Thursday, September 11, 2025. And fast forward to this day, Thursday, June 11, 2026, he was at the fourth national curriculum of the Distance Learning Institute at Distance Learning. That's about 273 days. The further delimited is about 9 months to 9 weeks, 6,552 hours, 393,120 minutes, and 23,587,200 seconds. And in between, some 195 weekdays and 78 weekend days that I last saw him speak. Right, please press that additional FNSE, DSC, Group Managing Director, Sahara Power Group, to please be on his feet as I take a brief citation of his. Adesina is a distinguished entrepreneur with multifaceted expertise across academia, finance, energy, international trade, and diplomacy. Kola serves as Group Managing Director of Sahara Power Group, member of the Sahara Group, leading global energy and infrastructure conglomerate. New types of bringing energy to life responsibly. To drive Sahara Power Group mission of responsibly delivering energy solutions across Nigeria and Africa, contributing significantly to socio-economic development through sustainable power generation, alternative energy solutions, with emphasis on environmental sustainability and preserving the planet. One of the successes that stands out for Kola is the opportunity to transform the land to working in collaboration with his partners at the Sahara Group and over 6,000 employees of the energy conglomerate who are dedicated to making a difference responsibly in the energy sector and also touching lives sustainably through the activities of the Sahara Group Foundation. Kola draws immense inspiration from the Sahara Group, which is encapsulated in the acronym MAD, which means make a difference. MAD continues to perform towards being a change visionary thinker and an unwavering believer in the inbuilt capacity of every individual and nation to contribute towards transforming our world. Under Kola's visionary leadership, Sahara Power Group connects over 30 million homes and businesses to electricity through its subsidiaries, directly the largest privately owned power distribution business in sub-Saharan Africa, Agri Power PLC, the largest thermal plant in FNSE, and first power limited. We play the pivotal role from power sector reform, serving as a key member of the Presidential Committee responsible for the unveiling of the power holding company of Nigeria into successor companies, facilitating the expansion of Nigeria's electricity infrastructure. We have a place for him. Kola held numerous referential commissions, chairing the electric Sahara PLC, founding insurance brokers, and Pearl Oncology, Multidisciplinary Cancer Center, which also serving on the board of major entities such as Agri Power PLC, First Independent Power Limited, FGL Power Company, part of the Presidential Power Initiative, Company, and recently in January 2026, joined International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, as a founding member of the Mission 300 Public Sector Council. His role on this board underscores his strategic involvement in the global energy and healthcare sectors across Africa. The seasoned diplomat in the energy industry, Kola's strategic acumen is leveraged by governments across sub-Saharan Africa to drive innovative, scalable energy solutions. This ingenious leadership emphasizes the use of modern business diplomacy, innovation, creativity, and talent optimization, ensuring Sahara Power Group as a key player in Africa's energy transition. Kola is a fervent advocate for youth empowerment, always willing to spread conversations and convene programs rather than giving expression to the boundless energy and talent of young people across Africa. Under his leadership, Sahara Power Group has employed over 1,000 young engineers, supporting them across various functions. His commitment to mentoring next generation of African leaders is evident in his efforts to inspire creativity, innovation, and excellence among young professionals. As a proponent of the Pan-African Dream, Kola envisions a future where Africa realizes its potential as the next global frontier for sustainable development. Strategic focus on regional integration and trade aims to unlock opportunities that will drive long-term prosperity across the continent. In his commitment to Greater Africa, he's mentored over 500 youth across the globe, silently providing philanthropic activities through the provision of over 1,000 scholarship grants. Kola holds a bachelor's degree in insurance, a master's degree in business, and a master's in international law and diplomacy. He's an associate of the Chartered Institute of Insurance and alumnus of the Harvard Business School Executive Education, the Grafton School Advanced Management Program, and the MIT Sloan School of Management Program. In recognition of his outstanding contributions, he was awarded a fellowship by the Society of Engineers. In recognition of his outstanding contribution, he was awarded a fellowship by the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He was recently conferred the 16th January 2025 as an honorary doctorate degree honoris causa by the prestigious University of Lagos. With acknowledgement of his contribution to Nigeria's development, Kola was conferred with National Honors Award as member of the Order of the Federal FNSE by President Muhammadu Buhari, CFR. More recently, Kola CFR, Kola Special Economic Evolution Council, tasked with formulating an and planning strategic for Nigeria. Since my spirit and respectfully move and elder scholar, favorite alumnus of the University of Lagos, the man who has done alma mater and many more times today, to speak on illuminating Africa from rhetoric to results. The why, how, the when, and the when. I wish you all happy listening. Thank you very much for that Steve citation. I think we'll do the first thing we'll do to illuminate Africa is to reduce that citation so that people would not slip off in the course of listening to this. First and foremost, let me thank God Almighty for the privilege of being here. I'm not, but when I was given the task to speak, and my brother, my mom, NSAB said, you may, that you may be invited. I was laughing that you've already been invited, don't worry. It's just a setup. That's exactly what he did with me last year. And I'm glad you got it and you took the cue, so we will expect you here next year by God's grace. But more importantly, I think the first thing we need to do before diving into the message I have to share, I would respectfully ask every one of us to please kindly rise up on our seat and give Arthur Mbanefo very resounding round of applause for living a life worthy of emulation. Thank you so much. Please be seated. Each time I look at Nigeria, and Nigeria is reflected in this very beautiful hall today. I celebrate lives and the lives that matter. Legacy and impact seemingly somehow started becoming a thing of the past and is shrinking so much in value. But thankfully, lately, we're beginning to see a resurgence of appreciation of men and women contributing to the progress of not just Nigeria, but Africa and the human race, and they are being recognized for who they are. We don't really want a majority of these great minds to go before we celebrate them. Without you all standing up, I need a round of applause to be given to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, who is not just future ready, but is very currently relevant and delivering values. Give her a resounding round of applause, please. She's done a remarkable job, and we know that by the time she's done with this job, she'll be doing another job because she's done very well. The reward for a good work is more work. Madam Vice Chancellor, please be prepared. You're a transformational leader, and we have very few of you around. You're being hired by God's grace. Thank you very much for this honor. If you look at the room and seeing some of the people here, tempted to adopt a message that was shared by Chief Shegun as the message for today, so that I can run away. Because if you look at the caliber of men in front of me, and they are all sitting on the front row intentionally to intimidate me, I don't know what else to say, but to say to Chief Bode, Olajumoke, Uncle Sam, God bless you, sir. My Edmond, Chief Barodo, thank you for coming. Chief, you were here last year, and you are here now. Christine, I love the way you look. When I'm your age, I want to look like this as well. God bless you so much. For the leadership of the center, thank you for doing a wonderful job. I don't want to go through the list of people here because that might take a huge chunk of our time. So kindly permit me to stand on existing protocol and dive straight into the reason why we're here. But before I do that, it just dawned on me, if I don't do this, just some few minutes earlier, my supervisor came into the room. I'm currently undergoing a PhD program in the University of Lagos. And all things being equal, I want to finish this year, and I'm working hard at it. So if I don't recognize my supervisor, they post field. They will post me out of the field. Professor Sunday Adesina, thank you for coming. At least applaud him very well. You know, man, gift to not just Nigeria, but to Africa, and the University of Lagos is privileged to have him as one of us. The university is here to stay. But the Vice Chancellor has just given him another assignment, a very tough one. I've recognized you, so note that. Please. All right. I'll begin with a Chinese proverb that most of all, if not all of us, are very familiar with, which is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and of course, the next best time now. That proverb captures this conversation must happen now, but Africa does not suffer from a shortage of goodwill. We do not suffer from the shortage of conferences, summits, or community of everything, nor vision documents or developmental framework. I could begin listing all of them, and trust me 100%, by country, by region, by institution, For a very long time, if I do so, do not lack passion, do not lack intelligence, we do not lack ambition as a nation, nor as a continent, and we certainly do not lack rhetorics. We lack often are results. I had the opportunity of speaking at Lagos Invest 3.0 on Tuesday, and beautiful program, lovely event, electricity, a critical missing link, current happenings in Nigeria was the last subject that was put on the agenda. And not only was it the last subject, the panelists were hurriedly pushed to finish so that the event can go on and they can do some other things. And of course, I had to openly rebuke the organizer that if electricity is so critical to us, why put it last? And not just put it last, or if they ask us to please get out of the room. But how do you create progress? When God Almighty gave us a template for human development by starting with electricity, but rather we invest it, and yet we are expecting that Africa will be illuminated. It was a very sober moment, and I'm sure they didn't like it. You know, the truth is bitter. And some of us are very direct. I don't know how to put a roof on the truth, because when if you do that, it's no longer the truth. So there's no need dressing the truth up. Just say the truth. And that really got my attention, agonized my mind even up till this morning. That if truly we want Africa to be illuminated, that should be the first item on our agenda. And we have copious documents, trust me 100%, that would have illuminated Nigeria since God knows when. And before I go further into my speech, something happening that most of us are not paying attention to. We had a conversation earlier in the holding room before we were ushered in here. And we're talking about bridges, roads, and all that. And of course, part of the conversation was the fact that we have some beautiful plans executed 20 years later. And of course, by the time we're executing, population for which the projects were developed has been. So no matter what you do, in spite of the investment, the result will not be obvious. What is happening that very few people are paying attention to is the fact that on a daily basis in Nigeria, between 20 and 24,000 children are born daily. Invariably, you're talking about 6 million children. Within so short a time, and at the end of the year, and 40 years later, you're not investing in infrastructure. So by the time you are making the investment, you are belated. So you are already under pressure. We use the word proactive in our various conversations. In the university, you use a word that is so popular. But it's so popular only in words, not in action. Because proactivity simply means that you invest ahead of time so that when the population grows, there won't be any pressure. And that's called redundancy, building redundancy into any project. So how do you truly grow a nation when institutions that will really give value to development are underfunded? Let me go to further. The distance between intention and actualization remains one of the most stubborn challenges of our time. This is a gap which we all must now close. I say this repeatedly. Many of times, I've had the privilege of being in rooms. At times, I'm wondering, how did I
enter this place. Now, conversations in those rooms are typically stick. Yes, this is wrong. Definition of the problem, not a problem. Solution to be preferred, keep running. Timeline, well documented. Now, when it comes to implementation, then start to come up with committees that review the work that's been done. The committee will review the paper, then that's okay. After that review, we need to put it together. Another committee will put it together again. By the time it goes to FEC, which my boss had the privilege of going to, becomes a contract. And by the way, with due respect, time the Federal Executive Council approves a project, my heart bleeds. Because I don't believe the Federal Executive Council's responsibility should be to approve projects. You have BPP there. If they don't do their job, that's the end. The work of the Federal Executive Council should be to strategize, to plan, and create structures that will deliver value tomorrow. So if on a weekly basis you're having conversation around the big issues, which is FEC for me, then we're going somewhere. But if the job is just a contract is to be approved that has been processed by different groups, I don't think that's a good use of our time. I'm not criticizing you, sir, but I feel something was done wrongly in that regard. It's standing at a major point, unlike any other in our history. Across the continent, we're seeing the early signs of industrialization taking root. We're seeing a growing recognition there, both within and across the world, that Africa is not merely a recipient of development, but now we're beginning to drive development. We're seeing a rapid urbanization program, expanding middle classes, as well as digital revolution that is helping us leapfrog traditional barriers. And speaking of the digital revolution, I can say that about next year's lecture is going to be so profound. Why? Chief, I now know to him, is one of the persons that drove me to invest in fintech. Why? Because of his love for fintech. Because I studied him when I was in the university, I was in the bank, and I saw some of the things he was doing, very progressive. He was actually an engine room of new ideas. He loved innovation and all that. So here I was quietly tapping from him without paying him. Today I give you a handshake for payment. Handshake, sir. Handshake. You want to check? No. If we are in a new age, the analog age is gone. It's going to go further down. It's going to be more terrible. But are we ready for that digital age? I'm not so sure if we are, really. Because there's quite a number of things are still being done using the traditional method without revolutionizing our mind, which is the basis for mindset development, without creating the mentality of the here and now, which is more artificial intelligence created by human intelligence. So we don't want the reverse of human intelligence driving artificial intelligence driving human intelligence, which probably is the case nowadays because most people go to ChatGPT, so their brains are on vacation. So they just assume what ChatGPT has collated, which I've tested, at least by the way, is severely wrong. But again, now people pushing what is wrong because it's garbage in, garbage out. They are only collating things put online and then giving it to you. So are we really testing our minds? That's the question. Testing our minds. If we don't test our minds, if we don't stretch our minds, we cannot illuminate Africa. If we go to the world's youngest population, more than 60% of our people are under the age of 25. Approximately 70% are under the age of 30. By 2035, more young Africans will be entering the workforce each year than in the rest of the world combined. It's a central fact of our time. And we must be clear, the young population is not automatically an asset. It is potential. And potential when left unaddressed, unsupported, and underinvested can quickly become a liability. Tunisia,
offers a powerful reminder. Before the Arab Spring, the country had many young, educated citizens. And that should have been a demographic dividend, but there were few jobs, very few, too little political inclusion, and too much corruption. Instead of becoming a force for growth, that frustrated potential became a force for rest. The problem was not the youth themselves. The problem was that institutions failed to give their energy, their education, as well as an ambition, a productive path. That lesson must matter. Across Africa, few people have ever experienced what a fully functional system feels like. A health system that works, a power system that is reliable, a transport system that connects people to opportunity, and a justice system that is fair, accessible, and trusted. Most of our citizens, I can say, have never lived in societies where institutions consistently public services can be relied upon, and where infrastructure truly serves people. Is what we must build. I'll come back to that shortly. Roads, bridges, ports, and power lines, all they matter enormously, they are not enough. We must build working systems that can depend on systems to create confidence, as well as systems that can turn talent into work, activity, ambition into enterprise, and because the true measure of development is not how many plans we announce, it is whether ordinary people can feel the difference in their daily lives. Whether a young person can find meaningful work, whether a business can operate without being suffocated by unreliable power, or logistics, or corruption. Whether a mother can check that the health system will be there when our child needs care. Whether citizens can believe that the law protects that public institution that serves him. And last and most importantly, and that your future is worth investing in. It's Africa that we must build, I repeat. An Africa where young people are not forced to choose between living and losing hope. An Africa where talent is not wasted, where ambition is not punished, and where potential is not left to decay. An Africa where the next generation is inspired not to live, but to stay, to build, and to live. The reason is not simple. If not now, when? If not us, who? What it requires to build a working Africa, what we need. Building a working Africa does not happen by accident. It requires intention. It requires sacrifice. It requires structure. And it requires work for us to be honest about the ingredients that are non-negotiable. Let me name them very clearly. It requires, number one, trust. Trust is the invisible infrastructure of every society that works. Without trust between citizens and institutions, trust between investors and governments, trust between communities and leadership, nothing lasts. Nothing can be built in that system. Trust is built slowly. It demands consistency. It demands transparency. It demands accountability. Every time a government delivers a promise, however small, it must deposit it into the trust account. Every time a contract is honored, every time a policy is implemented as stated, every time an institution has to be with integrity, trust grows. And trust, as established, is the single most powerful servant of development. Let's pause there for a second. It's time our politicians come to us with manifestos. Do we really interact with those manifestos anymore? I recall with vivid pleasure those days, even 1979, 1983 election, If you see the UPN manifesto, even LPN that people will condemn, manifesto, and we interrogated their manifestos. We wanted to validate whether it's true or not. As well as our UPN had, when they were AG, they had delivered value, which made some of us go to school. There is almost no go to school, but for the free education program, the free health program, the built houses and the rest of that. So the question is this: today, how many of our young children, young kids out there, truly can state the manifesto of all the parties we have? When we ask them today, what is the manifesto? They'll just tell you renewed hope. I renewed hope. And that's why it's so easy for people to leave one party and go to another party. The kind of people has done in the last 3 months, it's enough to even suffocate trust. That these people, are they there looking for power to serve us or to serve themselves? Because if you are putting into different parties, parties should be about principle and philosophy. It should be about agenda. It should be about something bigger than yourself. So it's not just you. But where you find a situation where people can easily cross carpets, as one went to one party on Monday, and Friday is another party. I said, maybe this must be one of the other parties. How can you be moving from one place, to another? So how can you trust such an individual? And by the way, truly and really, one of the problems we have with this generation is the fact that the young population, 70% of them don't trust government. That's all. They don't trust government at all. That's why you will see the gap between government and the people in terms of communication. Perspective of projects that are announced, perspective of the potential inherent in those projects. The young people are just, they will say, it's audio money, it's audio money. You will not see the money. And unfortunately, I'm equally suffering from that. Because I'm sure some of you are here because you want to ask me questions on electricity, which is why I ask myself, my MD is here, CEO. Everything on electricity, ask her. I'm the CEO of Kenya Electric. For me, just going to deliver my lecture, question on electricity, ask her. Because really, to be honestly, it's a bit really worrisome. Because I know without a doubt, if I ask Uncle Sam, if I ask Uncle Illuminating, if I ask my brother, they have the same fear inside of them regarding the future. Trust me. Because everything in life is about patterns and trend. On a paternalistic framework, using experience of where we were and where we are. If we continue the way we're going, what this is for ourselves to do. If we don't stop, the first thing that you need to do is to stop. You're in the wrong direction, stop. Start to head in the right direction. The compass of development is global now, and it's being tested. There is no science, there's no unique science again. Templates of development can be found in Singapore, can be found in Rwanda, even in Botswana, in different parts of the world. We're not doing anything new. We're not asking government to take us to the moon. So electricity is being provided 24/7 in certain climates, certain location. Why can't we do it here? Transport system is not a problem elsewhere. Why is it a problem here? These questions we must ask. But when we do ask the question, the problem is the answers we get. Do we trust them? Trust is number one. Number two is direction. No single entity, no government, no company, no institution, no individual can develop Africa alone. No. No matter how rich you are, you cannot do it alone. So what do I have to say here? The silos mentality must end. University today is not depending on subvention anymore alone to survive. They will grow. And by the way, chief marketer, 101, Unilag, deserves another round of applause. Because the way and manner she's been able to stimulate interest and galvanize resources for people to put money here is unbelievable. Because once I see a call, it's not one of I heard how are you? No, it's not one of the I just say I should greet you. Never. Never. Our call is here. It's not here. It is very much so well. You know that one. We will soon complete it. However, this other one. So when are we finishing it? And you know, we are committing resources to arrive. Because every time I get comments from even my colleagues, contemporaries, friends, and the rest of it. You love the University of Lagos so much. Why? I say it without any doubt. I am where I am because of the University of Lagos. You know, so somebody who was a bus conductor, a vendor, a fuel attendant, a scholar in University of Lagos, first degree here, second degree here, third degree. Then who am I? My middle name is University of Lagos. You know, and it's made me so unique that I've had course by God's grace to address people not just in Nigeria, in several parts of the world, even in the best schools. And they listen and wonder that, why you went to University of Lagos? Wow, that's incredible. Because really and truly, you see, if our first 11 does not represent us, we cannot win. Now, if we those who don't have what it takes, lift us up, we cannot win. And unfortunately, in terms of global resources today, there is a serious competition. Investment does not know religion. Investment does not know tribe. Investment is not interested in ethnicity. Jeff Business told me something when I went to him that, please, come and collaborate with me. This electricity thing is a problem I'm sleeping with every day. So I need somebody kind of financial might that you have. The guy was playing with his iPad. He said, you have to go from Nigeria to meet you here. We're having a conversation with the iPad. So he said, no, and finish what you are doing. We will engage. He said, no, I'm actually in the meeting with you. You know what I'm doing? I said, no. Return the iPad. Where was he doing? Googled your time. Nigeria. Unfortunately, that day was when they said we were burying money inside tank. We said the security officials took billions away. So he showed me 6 of those things. He said, you now ask me a question. So is your decision of over $1 billion in the Nigerian electricity space? What were the assumptions? I said, I gave all the universal work. But on the basis of this assumption, you still invested? I said, there is an element there. He said, what? I said, patriotism. He said, you are the cause of your own problem. He said, how can patriotism be an element in the investment decision for you? He said, this is your money. If you had brought it to me, you would have gotten minimum 3x. But you have allowed yourself to be beclouded by patriotism, that Nigeria must have electricity. He said, well, until you purge yourself of these ailments, I'm not coming. I said, okay, I purge myself. He said, no, it's a lie. You will purge yourself. So I need to, I can enter into the problem you have. As I stand here, government is owing me over 2 trillion naira. Yes. And government has publicly gone to say to everybody that they have begun to pay. And that was a message that was delivered last year. Today is the 11th of June. I said, my CFO is not here. If the alert has dropped here, it must be today. Now, and go back in time to what I said earlier, trust. The Japanese, the Israelis, they've moved so significantly upward
in the barometer of human development, primarily because the handshake there is enough. When they say that, but you start to see that you have to be checking clauses, guarantees, and all that, that relationship is even formed from that moment. That's it. So you see, people need to know that for us to truly improve the potential of Nigeria to be illuminated in all areas, we need to build trust and we need to work together. Number three, it requires building people. Infrastructure without human capital is like scaffolding without a building. We must invest relentlessly in education, not just access to classroom, but quality of learning. We must invest in skills, in mentorship, in health, and in psychological well-being of our people. A nation that does not invest in its people is consuming its own future. Every engineer trained, every nurse we equip, every entrepreneur we support, every young woman given a seat at the table, just as we have done here, and God bless her, these are the most important long-term investments every society can make. We of us stop to ask ourselves one question, and probably it's a question that needs to be really deeply researched into with outcomes pushed out there. The people that made first class in University of Lagos, where are they? What was their contribution post-graduation? Because if you made a first class, you are rare. It simply means you're a genius. So if you're a genius, the society must see the output and the benefit of you being a genius. Or did you allow them to pale into insignificance? Did we demoralize them with the reality of the street? Felt that they had to go back into their shell and just be speaking to themselves. And people around them will think they're mad. Because if you're a genius and the external environment is not able to nurture your ideas and help you grow, you will die. So we have a plan around ensuring those who are the best of us can truly lead the rest of us. We have that plan. So what are we doing to support those who can truly make things happen? We have a program that we implement in Sahara. And I love the way my Mbanefo, was stylish about it. He didn't want to call us we are mad. He said MAD. And a lot of people always say, you are mad, you are mad. Are you people mad? We are mad because we say we make a difference. And what is that? We are training people daily to improve on themselves. If I, as a leader, am in class, my teacher is here, at the level of success I have, I don't need anything anymore. I will say, I'm okay, I'm fine, but I don't know enough. I don't know enough because things are happening at the rate of light in different parts of the world. So for me to stay competitive, I need to really get aligned with people that know. So I'm perpetually digging. I'm perpetually searching. Your mind must be responsive. For you to be creative and innovative, you need to be familiar with what's going on in your environment and developing products suitable for your environment today and new ones for tomorrow. Invariably, the world we live in is a laboratory for anybody who truly wants to make it. And in that laboratory, you keep thinking, you keep rethinking, you keep learning, you keep on learning and relearning. How are we doing that in Nigeria? The headline I saw earlier today scared me. EFCC said some people spend 30 billion naira to get a ticket. 30 billion. That an individual removed 30 billion and put it out there because he wanted a ticket. Just imagine for a second what 30 billion naira would do to University of Lagos. For a ticket. It was today, yeah. The FNSE said for people spent 1 person to get a ticket, just 1 person. It's not the collective sum spent to that for 1 person. We identified 1 person who spent 30 billion naira to get a ticket.
You need any Babalawo to tell you that that ticket is not for you and I. You understand? There's no way. And by the way, you know, when we were singing the Unilag anthem, I was so proud. Why? We kept emphasizing to serve, pride, heritage. You want to serve me, and you are spending 30 billion to serve me. It is not me you want to serve me. What do you kind of service is that? And for every human being to pull 30 billion from his pocket, and we don't even ask for source anyway anymore. You know, and you know, for me, really, I don't want to go experts because it's important we pay attention to the critical fundamental issues that govern societal development. Without them, we cannot stand. We are inside this all primarily because of the fact that the foundation is strong enough to carry us. Guess what? This building, this structure, the beauty of it is in the foundation. It's not these things we're seeing. So if the foundation is weak, this one is going to come down. And you don't have people that will be legislating for us that they've stolen more than enough, 30 billion, just to get a ticket. You want to pick the election. How are you going to spend? So where did you get this money from? What did you do? So, and these are questions we are no longer answering. You know, the days of yore, my streets, Illuminating streets, when you start to live outside the scope of your role, they will tell you, sit down, press, answer. Then you tell me to buy this ladder. You must answer. And by the way, one of the things so that I don't go too far, so I go back here. First day, I cover their faces so. When they are all sleeping, but today they come out to win. So they are not stealing money now, it's human beings that are stealing. And they do it so sad. And we are blessed over it. We cannot eliminate Africa with banditry. I know for it. Elimination requires infrastructure development. A physical backbone of development, that is power, roads, water, digital connectivity, must be treated as strategic national priority and a political, not as a political safety. Reliable electricity, for example, is not a luxury. It is the foundation upon which every economic activity rests. As Sahara Group, we have declared and dedicated our existence that electricity access will make it. Irrespective of what Jeff is saying or anybody, we are devoted, we are dedicated. We will not come back. We are not going, even if they owe us 10 trillion, we will be here. We will make it happen. Irrespective of what they do. So what are we doing now? We are now using creativity that, look, I don't want to have relationship with government anymore. Let me have relationship with my customers. Why am I selling power to government? Government I can't trust. If I sell you power, it's reliable, you will pay me. If you don't pay me, I cut it off. That investment is easier to deal with rather than to carry the risk of government owing you. And you know when government is owing you, and most especially governments that are mean, you know what that means. Some of the things I'm saying here, if government officials are here, I will say it because that is Kola Adesina 001, and I will say it this way. Because after that message, EFCC will be waiting there. Zach, I don't think you will be waiting on the other side. And they're not going to just wait. They first embarrass you that you're stealing money. They've not even investigated you. And you know the way Alex is the GDP of Sahara. And they just use it, then they come with, oh, sorry, you don't have any case. No, don't worry. But you know what happens? Adesina will not say they will call me again. They say, you know that they say,
No, don't let's call him. Why are we going to call him? And trust me, that is one of the reasons the best of us is not representing us. Because you don't want to be tainted. That's it. But they don't care. So the people that wants power desperately don't care about name. If you know that is name conscious. And they are what is integrity. Integrity what? You can see one somebody that paid the school fees of his children from the account of state, and he has taken a ticket and is going to go to the Senate to legislate on our behalf. Nigeria will be. It requires policy consistency. One of the greatest enemies of African development is policy inconsistency. Investors, both local and international, are not afraid of Africa. They are afraid of uncertainty. They are afraid of the midnight call that tells them the rules have changed. Sustainable development requires that policies are designed in the long term, for the long term, and they are insulated from political cycles and are implemented with fidelity. Consistently, we must build credibility, and with that, we attract what? The reason nobody is coming to is simply because policies can change. I just imagine for a split second, God forbid, I know, we'll say that tomorrow morning we hear of high general KKK of whatever army. You know what happened? The entire policy of government will do what? So, it's already committed their money. So we can't pull it out. So the fact. Now you can imagine another party wins and is will be 75, will be 74. He takes over. He never spoke about it. He will say that that's not priority. Stop. Now, and if you are the one that invested in that project, then you can. So when you have that kind of plethora of inconsistencies, you elicit zero capital. That's all. Nobody's going to put a dime down because all I'm doing is I'm taking a decision, I'm taking a bet that look, this system will remain like this for this period because we've taken a policy decision and that policy stands. But if the policy starts to change, nobody's going to come here. So that's a problem that we must find a way around. It requires innovation and technology adoption. Africa cannot afford to solve 21st century problems with 20th century tools. We must embrace technology, not just as consumers, but as creators. We must invest in digital infrastructure, in research and development, in startup ecosystems that solve local problems at scale. Africa's young people are already building extraordinary solutions. Our task is to create the environment in which those solutions can thrive, grow, and transform lives. One of my best investments is in fintech. Getting my money back. It's so short in time. And no brick, no mortar problem. It's just online. The only area I've not put my money is in, they call it Bitcoin. So I realized that my money will go bit by bit. So and then cryptocurrency, but no. Because when Mbanefo said he's not interested, so I said, if this old man that knows a lot about investment is not putting money, cryptocurrency, my money will be creeping away. You know? So I said, let me just take my bet. And my bet paid off. So the ones that put money into quietly, investor, they're giving the returns. The risk in banks, the traditional banks, so high, but these young boys, they've been able to create some unbelievable solution. And we can see what is happening. Are we nurturing them? How many more can we create? Are we having conversations with them such that ideas beneficial to the long-term growth digitally for Nigeria is being promoted? The best idea is yet to come. There's nothing called the best idea. It doesn't happen. There's nothing called the best. The best is not, it's just a myth. Every day, somebody somewhere is creating a solution superior to what exists today. So how many people are we pushing in that wise solution? I said, with our pillars, and none of them can work stand alone. We hold each other together. Pull one away, the others are weakened. Strengthen one, the others benefit. The how is not a single solution. It is an ecosystem of intentional, coordinated, sustained system and action that must be driven by what? Leadership. Who is then responsible? The government? People? Citizens? Who? The who is everybody in this room. You know, it's so easy to rationalize the reason for the failure of Nigeria. You know, typically all of us, we have it's government we will blame. You know, it's just like when Arsenal was underperforming, most Arsenal fans were quiet for 22 years. The moment they won, yeah, we won. How many Arsenal fans are here? 1, 2, 4, up. Okay, I have to be careful. Because the next statement can cost me a problem. And I know that in another 22 years, we'll see you again. I gave the title to Arsenal, so I had to withdraw it with this victory. I called them Shoroye. You know, they'll see the title like this. They will not this time around. See, if we take a decision in this room, regarding Project Nigeria, trust me, it's easier for you to have a multiplier effect if that message is passed on. But it is when we take information like this, internalize, ruminate, agonize, and enhance them. Respondency set in, and we have we've accepted it. We can't do anything about it. I, Kola Adesina, did not accept my state of poverty. That's why I'm here. I'm the first graduate in my family. Very first. Yes, nobody in my entire lineage went to school. I'm the first. And when I took that decision, everybody said, no, even my father said, sure. I had examples of people that were relatively successful. And when the person said there was no success to me, it was pain and anger. I just felt that I didn't want to be like any one of you. I'm sorry. It's causing me problem now because I'm bleeding. I'm the one paying school fees for everybody. But there is a better thing. Aha. So I'm in a better place. Everyone wants to go to school. So now, are we really aware of the fact that we're part of the Nigerian problem? Our silence is a problem. Because when government takes decisions that is contrary to the national development agenda embedded in an anthem, and we sing that anthem is, we must live by that anthem. That's our Bible. But do we use that as a measure of how to say government is working or not working? We don't, as a nation. We've accepted it. We will keep quiet. I want to beg you to, after this lecture, don't keep quiet. I want you to think of this as a pyramid. At the top, you have the architects, who are the policymakers, the institution builders, and large-scale investors. But the pyramid cannot stand without its base. And that's every citizen who chooses to be part of the solution. I repeat, the base is every citizen who chooses to be part of the solution. Every parent who insists on quality education for a child. Every professional who refuses to pay or accept a bribe. Every young person who chooses to stay rather than to leave and flee Nigeria. Every teacher who shows up with excellence, and every community leader who holds their local government accountable. Take away every part of the pyramid. What happens? First, so each and every one of us will have a role to play. Well, Sonia said Nigeria is Buhari. For the sake of those who don't understand Yoruba, he said Nigeria is for all of us. That is must not spoil. So whatever we do is contributing to where Nigeria is and who Nigeria is. So please, I beg of you, let's start to know that the room is you and I in those rooms. Here is how it works. Yes, you sitting in this room today, you need to take this message and share it with two people. Not on social media for likes, which is another problem we have. Most of the younger generation, what they are looking for is the number of likes. They say, so some people will call me, Oga Kola, I'm following you. I always tell them, no, don't follow me. Goodness and mercy will follow me. Once we are able to make sure that our rhetorics become reality by the steps and decisions we take, by our action, not just our word, then we will start to do it. We'll be able to illuminate Africa. Every person has to be involved in moving from plans, from visioning, from conferences similar to this, and from rhetoric to action to be able to get the outcome that we're seeking. Because here is what I know, and this I have accumulated in my 62 years of existence. Systems change when people demand better and then commit to doing. If you don't commit that you are going to be better, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Commitment on your part is very essential, and you doing what you say. You see, on Sundays, we go to church, isn't it? Fridays, we go to mosque. Why is our value system not reflecting our religiosity? Why? Because immediately after Sunday services, immediately they say the grace. People are lying. They're lying. That's in the church. You ask them, you last week, you didn't leave Lagos. And you didn't finish sermon. You just heard the sermon. So how do you really change a system like that? How do you change a system like that? So we truly must start to commit and commit fully and do what we say we will have to do. Now, I think an example, and this example is very important. Rwanda. I'm not so sure who have been to Rwanda before. Very good. Nice. Now, in 1994, Rwanda experienced one of the most horrific genocide in human history. In the space of approximately 100 days, almost 1 million lives were lost. And I remember that period. So killing as if killing was just the normal thing to do. Daily. The country was shattered physically, psychologically, institutionally, and spiritually. And then Rwanda did what? They made a choice. Not one person, not one leader, but a nation that made a choice. If I asked, what choices do you have to make in Nigeria today? I'd like to get answers like that. Can somebody help? Because I'm still learning. What choices do you have to make in Nigeria today? I want it from the elders. I'm not asking the elders, but if the young ones don't answer, elders, please help. What choices? I don't know. Okay, the elders, over to you, sirs, and mass. Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say that everybody should be accountable for every decision that they make. Whatever decision one makes has a consequence for it.
What's president? What's that mean? All right. We'll see my CEO later. Yeah, because when you see my CEO, she will do what is necessary. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Decision we have to boldly make is to see how we can transform ourselves from being a country to a nation. That is the most important thing. That's the underlying problem of Nigeria. We are not a nation. Because when the trumpet, according to King's College, when the trumpet is sounded, we should all answer yes. And we can't answer yes yet. Although we have a slogan to keep Nigeria one is a task. Nigeria is indivisible. Are you God? It will be indivisible where every Nigerian child will find a home in every nook and corner of this country. That is it. Remember, you can't go there and say we're a Tutsi or Hutu. Or when you hear my name, Kola, it's already giving me a section. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Please give our daddy a round of applause, please. Wait, the last one quickly, because you can just profess, I guess. Please go ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really commend everybody that spoke. You know, we're in a university environment, so invariably there's no perfect answer. Because whatever the answer you give, somebody would query it, you know, that no, something is defective there. But when we bring those queries together and make it one, then we can have a collective decision. What did Rwanda do? The first thing was forgiveness was important to them. That was the very first thing. That we need to forgive. That if we don't forgive, there's no way we can move forward. That was the first thing that they did. They moved forward reconciliation. You can't reconcile if you don't forgive. Because if you still carry the wound of yesterday or yesteryears or whatever, it's no reconciliation. It's just going to be lip service. Because you'll be waiting. Don't worry, I'll pay you back. Many people, what's the population that died from your side and this our side? No, we must equalize it first, then we can talk. You know? But we must decide on what to move forward. That was what they decided on. That there is going to be a forward movement. They built the cattle courts community, against justice mechanism system, rooted in African tradition. They did what? They started processing the truth as just exactly what it is, the truth. But what happened before? What happened? What's going to happen going forward? We took a decision. We dismantled, just like our daddy said here, ethnicity, completely from their national identity. Whether I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm an Hausa, they must not be seen. Because if you see yourself as human beings, and we are all human beings, if you look at our stories are similar. If you look at the Bible and the Kola, we are one. As well as we carry the same surname. Part of the problem we all had was the fact that we started carrying different surnames. So we started seeing ourselves as one. We then started creating artificial borders. What is border? Border where? What does it mean? There's nothing called a border because, unfortunately, and technology is teaching us what we should do naturally. Technology is borderless. It doesn't recognize any border. It just work on its own. I can send a message here, Kenya will see it. You'll see it in America. Geneva will pick it up. Everybody. So there's no border. But all these artificial borders, this is Nigeria. No, this is the Republic of Togo, whatever. So those things are things that service. Everyone is the first one. Rwanda, they will tell you, is one of the cleanest places. Very clean. Community work, service. So that every last Saturday of the month, we do cleaning. What do we do? When we used to declare it, all of us would just sleep. And when it's over, we come out. But we do nothing. So again, those are things that we need to really learn from some of those people. Rwanda is one of the cleanest, most efficiently governed, and most investor-friendly country on the continent of Africa. It ranks amongst the top countries in the world for women in parliament. Its GDP has grown dramatically. Its streets work. The institutions that function optimally. The Kigali is held up as a model city. A nation where genocide took place in 1994.
somehow, somewhat, to be able to create a template for development that we're not looking for. How? Why? I'm not like the brightest and the best you can find anywhere in the world. Yeah, we all go to all these beautiful schools and great every time. But why are we not able to replicate what is possible in other places? They did not achieve this because of what? Of resources. No, we didn't. All the natural resources we have, what are we using them to? No, respecting them. It achieved this because its people collectively deliberately chose results over rhetoric. Rwanda is proof that collectivism can move a people forward. It's a proof that when a nation decides to act as one, the transformation that follows is real and extraordinary. We won't look to Rwanda. Our own history as Africa as a collective rather than separate whatever, we will have a serious problem. In the ancient history of our continent, Africa, this African society we're seeing today, we built it on collective identity. That's who we were until we started having these dichotomies. We had shared purpose and communal responsibility. We did not build alone, we built together. Consider the Benin Wars, one of the greatest enduring achievements in human history, longer in total Africa than the Great War of China, built by our own ancestors, right here in this part of the world. Those walls were not built by a single person, a single family, or a single clan. They were built by a community that understood that the protection of one was the protection of what? Of all. The walls existed to shelter people, we build them, and the stone that was used there was collective stone, one stone. Consider the groundnut pyramid of the northern Nigeria. The groundnut trade that drove commerce and put Nigeria on the global map was not the enterprise of isolated individuals. It was a product of farmers, traders, cooperatives, and communities working in concert across the region, building supply chains, establishing trust, as well as fostering trade across vast distances. Collective effort produced national wealth. Consider the ancient trade routes of the Sahara, the Mali Empire, the Sangha Empire, the Timbuktu, as a global center of learning and commerce. These were not accidents. They were the deliberate products of societies that understood interdependence. They valued knowledge sharing and built institutions designed to last and most especially to serve. Consider the age-grade system of the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Hausa social structure that distributed responsibility across generations, that held communities accountable to one another, that made the success of one the aspiration of all. These were not primitive arrangements, they were sophisticated governance systems that modern political scientists are still studying and admiring. We have always known how to build together. In recent decades, as modernity has brought with it individualism, tribalism, and narrowing of identity, we have begun to forget who we are. We have retreated into smaller and smaller circles, from the nation to the tribe, from the tribe to the family, from the family to self, and as ourselves are strong as our collective capacity transformation. It is time for us to retreat. It is time for us to remember who we are and what we're capable of when we move together as one. And so, as we arrive at the final and most important question, when? I refer to what I started with, Chinese program. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You can spend the rest of this morning lamenting what was not done in 1960 or 1990, 2000, 2015, and on and on. We can debate whose fault it is that Africa's potential has not been fully realized. Colonialists or past leaders, corrupt politicians, and so on. We can produce another white paper, as we've done many times, and then another vision document, another communique, or we can decide today, in this room, in this moment, this time, that we are truly ready to make a change. Now is the time to stop complaining and start constructing.
Now is the time to stop pointing fingers and start pointing the way. Now is the time to stop waiting for the perfect leader, the perfect policy, the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is always this one. I will reference the global thought leader, Simon Sinek, who had said, and I quote, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. That responsibility does not belong only to presidents and chief executives. It belongs to every person in this room. If you're a parent, you're a leader. If you're a teacher, you're a leader. If you're a business owner, a community elder, a student, a public servant, you are a leader. And the moment you accept that responsibility, the moment you stop outsourcing the future of Africa to someone else, something significant shifts. Now, let me be clear about who carries responsibility for this movement. And it operates, as far as I'm concerned, on 3 levels. 1, at the institutional level, our universities, our research centers, including this one, our programs and professional association must produce knowledge that is not just academic, but applied. They must be incubators of solutions, promoters of people, advocates of evidence-based policy. The author in Mbanefo Digital Research Center exists in this tradition. The work we do here matters. Our voice here must be amplified. I love the fact that the chairman mentioned earlier, I think Mr. Ebi mentioned earlier that a compendium is being put together. That compendium must be delivered to the leadership. It must be available to all. Because somehow, somewhat, somebody somewhere might take decision on the basis of what they've read, and what they've read might point the direction for all of us. All we need is just for one person, significant enough, relevant enough, to be able to identify the seed inherent in the messages that have been shared, nurture it, and it starts to grow to something far more beautiful. Our job is to make this world better than we found it. That's our primary responsibility. We're not meant to do any other thing. To make money was secondary. To become a billionaire or whatever, not necessary in any way or form. That's why billions was never mentioned in the Bible. It's just simply put, make a difference. I've given you the opportunity to be like me, God. Create as well. Multiply. Make a difference. That's all. Just simply make a difference. The moment you are able to do so, the recognition you seek will come. Recognition should not be bought. You cannot buy it because it's not sustainable if you buy it. Your real self will always come out more than you like because we know who you are. There are some names in Nigeria that the children today, they don't like the surname they carry because of the things their parents did. But the question now is, what are you doing for the next generation? What are you doing? So if you care enough, know enough that, look, you can't carry any of the things you have, nothing whatsoever. When my father died and he was on the floor, I looked at him and I felt, this man worked for how many years? 78 years. He slaved, he did everything. He couldn't carry anything. He tried, even his hand was turning in particularly. We were trying to turn it. It was a problem. Life and the meaning of life came out there for me. Guess what? 80 years inside the house. My children went to so that you will be coming out and as clear as you know, my wife's daughter was particularly the funny one. She said, Daddy, you know, you don't like us dancing the way we dance. So we dance on top of you. I said, so I said, okay, so you do it. They said you will take me outside. Outside the house I built. You know, we should really know the meaning of life. At the government level, we need leadership and systems that have beyond the next election cycle. We need policy makers who will make difficult decisions today for outcomes that will not only be visible today, but to be relevant in 20 years. We need public institutions that function, that pay salaries on time, that deliver services efficiently, that protect citizens and investors alike. We need accountability mechanisms that ensure that those standards are upheld. We don't hold our people accountable anymore. We don't. And that's why they do what and get away with what they do. We don't need to wait for EFCC to take decisions on our behalf, action on our behalf. No, we don't. Because even those institutions now have been corrupted. So you see that, sir, I'm sorry to say this. When you see that in Nigeria is selective justice, true or false? There's only people that are in opposition that we are prosecuting. If you are smart enough to join us, you are safe. Our system is that. And the last thing that should never die in any society is justice. Because that's the last place we all go to. That's the way that look, if everything fails on that scale, truth will prevail. And it's blindfolded. Why? Because it's not meant to sway or be swayed in directions that the rulers desire. But that's not the case today. You know, we truly, I don't know whether to say this, Supreme Court should truly be supreme. I'm not so sure whether they are supreme anymore. At the personal level, we need each of us to own our sphere. We need doctors who bring excellence to every patient. We need engineers who refuse to cut corners. We need young people who demand better and then become better. We need every professional in this room to carry the message beyond this world and make it real in their daily lives and choices. The passing of the message must begin now, not next year, not after the next summit. It is now. Chief author Mbanefo understood this. He was a man who did not just talk about what Africa could be. He was a man who built things, who honored his commitment. He showed up with integrity. He invested in people, and in doing so, he gave us a template, not just for rhetorics, but for results. Let us honor his memory, not with words, but with our work. Let us leave this hall today with one commitment, not just to be a project, not just a conference, but as a choice to be deliberate, a choice to be responsible, a choice to bring at least 2 more people into this conversation and to translate this energy into action. Africa is not waiting for a savior. Africa is waiting for its people to remember and to act on who they truly are. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I need you to ask yourself, what can I do? Who can I share this message with? I believe if we take this message and spread it across, you never can tell who this message will be of great help to. If our nation don't learn or grow from it, at least let one person become better just because you've shared this message. I need us to have a seed for progress as a nation and as a continent. When I looked at the room and I saw Dr. Bode Karonwi, look at his hairstyle, look at mine. Abi? Very handsome, isn't he? Is he handsome? Is he very handsome? Good. Trust me 100%. Africa can be made to look finer than him. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can do better to appreciate him, please. Excellent. Man and very well, please. Speak about illuminating Africa from rhetoric to results. Let's say that distinguished members of University of Lagos, my very own mentor, managing director Sahara Power Group, Adesina MFI, all stayed with something that stayed with me. He said, "Show there are 2 WhatsApp groups." Remember, sir? That first WhatsApp group, we only complain. No solution. It's a shame. Don't be in that WhatsApp group. So you know the WhatsApp group I want you to do? I want you to be in the WhatsApp group who prefer solutions. And I've stuck with that. I'm not in that WhatsApp. I will, if you add me, I delete myself because I want to prefer solutions. Please, we can give another round of applause. We are almost rounding down. We touched on something that was very, very germane. I'm not a proponent of mathematics. We started speaking at 12:08 p.m. and we ended at 1:23 p.m. That means we spoke for 1 hour and 16 minutes and 37 seconds. Please, we can do well to appreciate it, please. And all I can just say to you in Rwandan language is Murakoze. And that's how we say thank you in Rwanda. Murakoze. Thank you very much, sir. We will take to session of gifts to start with the chairman of today's occasion, and to help us with that presentation of the gifts to the chairman is the inaugural chairman of the Mbanefo lecture. He also doubles as the chairman of the advancement board. Please help me appreciate Chief Bayo Ojo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Commander of the Order of Niger, to please help me make this presentation to our chairman of today's occasion, and so to say, incoming guest speaker.
Thank you very much. Before I make that presentation, perhaps I should just say that my life expectancy today has been increased by 5 years. Having listened to the lecture given by the guest lecturer, a very, very good lecture indeed. I want to commend him for it. And maybe later, there's a question, I thought there'll be question and answer session. I want to ask you that if today you have the authority to implement a change across Africa, what would that change be? If today, one transformative change in Africa, what would that change be? That's a question for you.
Let me answer, please, because it would be an injustice for me to just read and sit down, because I have an answer already. And the answer, simply put, is this. For Africa truly to grow, for me, I have 5 frameworks that would really unleash the best of Africa. We must have a sense of direction where we're going. There must be meaning. Number 2, mindset shift must happen, and must happen top down, bottom up. We must be able to mobilize resources. And in mobilizing resources is for the purpose of ensuring that we internalize the value that we have created and export that value so that we can get greater value. When we're consuming the products of the world, we should be feeding the world. Now, the next thing would be for us to have a mechanism for renewal. And a mechanism for renewal simply means that you have created a system to replicate what you did before and do it again and again and doing it better. KPI, the measurement, must be determined by the people. If you set your measuring rod yourself, it's always very difficult. It can be very, you can look at yourself and set a target, it's easier. But if the people that's leading set the target for you, of course, you know what that means. You won't be able to set easy targets for yourself. Leadership is getting away because they are the ones setting their own leadership, their own measurement, whatever, their KPI. So they will let us measure up because that's what they do. So in Africa, those 5 things will help grow Africa. Let's have meaning, let's have mindset, let's mobilize resources, Let's have a mechanism for renewal and let's measure right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So it is my privilege to make this presentation to the chairman of today's occasion, Dr. Shedwano, who is a friend of mine, and to let him know that he's the incoming lecturer for next year's session. So on behalf of AMDRC, I present this to you, chairman of the occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Chief Bayo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, our inaugural chairman of the Mbanefo lecture. The next recipient, your guess is as good as mine. He has done so many things. He said the reason where he is today is because of the University of Lagos. I must say that the reason I am also where I am today is because of University of Lagos. Unilag now has 2 certificates, and I'm jealous because I'm happy that the Director of Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Center, who has just been appointed as Director of University of Lagos Business School, is here. There is an entrepreneurship certificate that you get for those who are just coming in. So aside from the degree you get, you also get that. And this company has also been part of this event that they always organize on a yearly basis. And I'm talking about Sahara Power Group. That has done a lot for University of Lagos. So at this juncture, may I humbly and respectfully invite, for every time she gets new titles, I've lost count of so many things I've called her. She's a woman of so many firsts. But today, my mentor has given her A1 Chief Marketer of University of Lagos. The future lady Vice Chancellor, the woman who has taken University of Lagos to an enviable heights. And the reason we are at that global space, when we say we are University of Lagos, when we step out because the headline and the topic is really projecting us in a positive light. You see, they say lion know the born goats. When you are the daughter of someone who is a distinguished Nigerian, you have to replicate that. My amiable Vice Chancellor, the future ready Vice Chancellor, Professor, and I say it's the first sitting female Vice Chancellor to be conferred with an ON. You can take that to the bank. Professor Kola Okosola, AAM, FAS, and OO1, presenting to an alumnus of University of Lagos who has done great things for this university and is still doing many more. I humbly invite Kola Adesina, member of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Federal Nigeria Society of Nigeria, honoris causa of the prestigious University of Lagos, and the managing director, Sahara Power Group, my mentor, for his own award.
Mr. Kola Adesina, on behalf of all of us at the Mbanefo Digital Research Center and the University of Lagos, and I want to say thank you very much for your message. I think we are all going away transformed. And I think one of the central messages is that we all have to become the change we want to see. Integrity, we have to be collaborative, and we have to have Nigeria as our project. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. very much. Congratulations to all our recipients of awards. And thank you very much to all the excellent presenters. I will go quickly now to recognize and appreciate the friends of AMDRC. And I must say, these friends have ensured that the growth of these projects is sustainable. In no particular order, I used to appreciate and recognize Senator Babu Elajimoke. Please help us appreciate him. Wonderful friends of AMDRC. Chief Ayo Ojo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Commander of the Order of Niger, we have for you. Our very own Mr. MS Ebi, a round of applause. MS, thank you very much, sir. Dr. ABC Ojiakwe, we say thank you very much. Dr. Bedutayomi, a board member, thank you very much. Mr. Dennis Okoye, thank you very much. Dr. Sam Amuka, aka Ken, the chairman of Vanguard, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate all of you, and we say thank you so very much. And all this will ensure that AMDRC is sustainable. We thank you. Thanks. Of course, is where we are going to now. May I humbly invite for the vote of thanks one of the board members of AMDRC, Mrs. Bolanle Chogba, to please do the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We thank God Almighty for granting us life and the opportunity to gather here today in honor of our late benefactor, Chief Arthur Mbanefo, the Odu of Onitsha, who deserves a big round of applause for leaving behind to the University of Lagos Okay. Thank you. For leaving behind a lasting legacy to the University of Lagos, we are indeed very grateful. On behalf of the management and staff of Arthur Mbanefo Digital Research Center, University of Lagos, I stand before you all with a heart full of gratitude to formally say a big thank you to everyone here present and everyone watching online. The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Segun Eno, I thank you, sir, for sparing our time to be with us today. Sir, we are indeed very grateful. Your chairing this event honors this gathering and the memory of the Odu, whom we are celebrating today. To our dear guest lecturer of today, Mr. Kola Adesina, chaired the 600th lecture. We are glad to have you again at the center. You are welcome, sir. Thank you, sir, for delivering a lecture that was both intellectually stimulating and deeply relevant. I am sure and also believe that we all have picked something from this lecture. Sir, your contribution has enriched this occasion and will continue to guide our thinking. We are grateful. To our dear and noble Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Bushala, our very dear first AMDRC co-chair and her management team. Thank you, ma'am, for your unwavering support of the center and its activities year in, year out. For all past Vice Chancellors and their management teams now present, we say thank you. We especially acknowledge past chairmen and guest lecturers. We also extend our sincere appreciation to AMDRC board members for steadfast guidance. May God bless us all. To the Mbanefo family, Thank you for your presence at this occasion. Chief Mbanefo's legacy continues to inspire us. To all our distinguished guests and online participants, thank you for your time. Many thanks to our colleagues from the university here present. I also wish to thank the media team for the coverage. CITS, the operator, beyond the furrows, for creating a fitting atmosphere, and all service providers and vendors whose work ensured the smooth running of today's event. Your professionalism did not go unnoticed. Finally, to my colleagues at AMDRC team, the area and the new order, thank you as we all worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this lecture a success. Your dedication ensured that the lecture is conducted with dignity. Everyone here present today, thank you for joining us to honor our benefactor. Thank you once again, and God bless you all. I now call on Senator Bodola Junior. Sir, please come forward for a few words. Thank you, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos. This is a message from the Global Chairman of Grimaldi Group of Company. I succeeded late Otto Mbanefo as the chairman of Nigeria, Grimaldi. I have here with me another friend, Uncle Sam Amuka, who Otto was 1995 on the 11th of June last year. Chief Uncle Sam Amuka was 90 on the 13th of June, 2025. He will be 91 on the in 2 days' time. This is a message of goodwill from Dr. Gianluca Grimaldi, who is the current chairman of Grimaldi Group. The father of Gianluca and Chief late Otto Mbanefo were very good friends. I recall that we all traveled down to Italy, Naples, with Otto many years ago. So this message is from the son of late Grimaldi. Dear Professor Folashade Ogunshola, message of goodwill. Reference your letter dated 8 April 2026. I am pleased to convey my warm greetings to the Otto Mbanefo Digital Research Center and the University of Lagos on the occasion of this year's lecture. This series already held great significance while Otto was with us. Holding it now for the first time in his absence gives it an even deeper meaning. Otto Mbanefo was a man of integrity, sound judgment, and quiet authority. His contributions to our company and the respect of the respect he commanded will not be forgotten. I commend this initiative, which ensures that his legacy continues through ideas, dialogue, and progress, values he truly believed in. I wish you all successful and meaningful events. Dr. Gianluca Grimaldi, Chairman, Grimaldi Group. I signed on his behalf, and I will present a copy of the letter to the Vice Chancellor.
A round of applause for Senator Oladipo. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. Before we take few photographs to capture this moment and then do the closing prayer, I would just like the chairman of the occasion to just officially say that we have come to the fitting end of seventh lecture. So I respectfully invite Shegun, I know, to please give us the honors.
Thank you very much. It's been a very wonderful and auspicious event. Been here meeting people, but more importantly, the lecture that was very, very brilliantly delivered in very simple, easy language that we are all able to follow. Kola Adesina has given us targets. He has challenged us to play our role in ensuring that we illuminate Africa. To play our role, I believe we are all Nigerians here. As a leader in South Africa, I think it was Nelson Mandela, that was created by saying that if Nigeria does well, the whole of Africa will do well. So that means the future of Africa is in the hands of Nigerians. And we need to say that we cannot just be giant of Africa for nothing. So we have to get our hearts right. And it's not politicians, it is not the little people that can do it. It's all of us that can do it. And we have seen how it has been done in other parts of the world, including some of the countries that he alluded to. So I want all of us to leave this room today, to get challenged and to play our role, to support government, to help them in doing the right thing. Because by criticizing government, you are not against them, you are helping them to do the right thing. And if all of us say the same thing, of course, I mean, a reasonable person will listen and do what needs to be done. So it's been a wonderful time here today. And, I just feel like we should just go on our own because of the beautiful things that I said. But of course, we have a lot of other things to do. I want to thank everybody for cooperating with us in ensuring that this event has gone well the way it has been. And we look forward to seeing you next year. I will go and learn from Kola how we are able to put his paper together so that I can do better than him next year. So thank you very much. Madam, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Excellent. From the chairman of today's occasion, Dr. Shegun, I know, I say thank you to you. Well, I just want to thank you that as we close with a prayer, after this, we are going to have photographs that are captured in a very heavily manner. The very first will be members of this side of the table. We have members of the University of Lagos Management also joining. We have board members of AMDRC. We have friends of late the Adimula of Ife, and of course the owner of Onitsha. we will do a benefit. So please, after the prayer, let's just wait behind for that. Yes. Okay, I'm just prompting people, man. Thank you. So for the closing prayer, I will invite the board member to please do that for us. Um, so please rise. And I go to we just want to thank you for thank you for how you have led us. Thank you for perfecting this lecture. We give you all the glory. Lord, we thank you for the life and times of our benefactor, your son, Chief Arthur Mbanefo. We pray, Lord, that his legacy will continue to live on. We thank you for the guest lecturer. We thank you for using him to illuminate us. And we pray that all the lessons we have learned today that we'll take and practicalize in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you for all those who have made this occasion possible, this lecture possible. We pray, Lord God Almighty, that next year we will all assemble here again and on the 8th lecture, and expectations will not be cut short. Thank you, Lord, for everything you have done for us. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. And with that prayer, it's our prayer that this country that belongs to you and I shall be great again. As we celebrate tomorrow, we pray that Almighty God will bless this great country. From this end, I want to say thank you, everyone. My name is Oluwaseun Ajidawa. Gracias, everybody. Siagonga, Burakuzi, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you. I say, have a productive day ahead. Bye for now. Don't forget that the program will be outside. Let's not forget that outside we have that different.
We are going to have the first photograph here. Vice Chancellor, the chairman of AMDRC, and of course, the Vice Speaker. MSW, please. MSW. We come to help you, Mr. MSW, the chairman of AMDRC. Please, I want someone to help. Board members, please. Mr. MSW is here. Hold on, please, sir. Let's have Mr. MSW to join. Then after which the board members of AMDRC and we will now proceed outside for a larger room. The AMDRC board members can also join. Then outside we take with members of the University of Leaders Management. Board members, what's up with? Then outside we proceed with University of Leaders Management and family members and well wishers. So we can then proceed outside. Thank you.